Been a long day for these race teams. Finally, they get to finish the job, put the green flag in the air, and go after it. 200 laps here at Bristol. Pace truck going to pull in, and that means Christian Eckes is in charge. Starting on the pole, next to the outside lane to his left, another championship hopeful in Carson Hocevar. These two drivers have won 3 times this season. A victory tonight puts them in the championship 4. It's finally here. Go time at Thunder Valley.
How about the best word that Christian Eckes has heard today? Clear.
And what about that launch? You said it, Phil. The outside seems to launch better. He launched and he got right to the bottom. That tells you 2 things. You can launch better on the outside, but you want to get to the bottom as soon as you can. One more thing that I'm really interested in watching early is that 42 truck of Carson Hocevar. When he qualified, absolutely out of control and still got the second fastest time. When you've got a little bit of a loose truck, that could be an advantage on the long run. Take care of that right front tire and keep that truck turning through the corners.
Couple playoff guys right here. Grant Enfinger, the 23, was following Corey Heim. Side by side now with Zane Smith on the bottom. That's for the 7th position. Zane's going to grab it. See Jack Wood there in the rowdy number 51 right behind this battle. Great qualifying effort for Jack Wood. William Sawalich right there behind those, a 16-year-old racer. Just a couple of years ago, Sam Mayer at the age of 16 came to Bristol and put this place on its ear by getting a victory here. A couple of trucks battling from the back. We saw Caden Honeycutt have a lot of speed earlier, but then he wrecked in qualifying. Oh, look at that little push.
Nick Sanchez pushing Memphis Villarreal out of the way. Sanchez, one of our playoff drivers, did not make a qualifying run earlier today. A lot of traffic to maneuver through for the driver from Miami, who's been so successful in his rookie campaign.
I'm impressed with his 0-2 as well. He had a lot of speed in qualifying, made a mistake on lap 2, but he's going to see if he can just keep his 4 tires in the tracks of the 2 and make his way to the front.
Let's go down to Jamie.
Nick Sanchez already been able to make up some of those moves. I asked him what was going to be the biggest key to doing it. He said maybe a little bit of patience, but he also believed that he could make some risky moves as long as he understood what the risk versus reward was. We see him being smart here. He's just got to keep doing it. Adam.
Talking about charging, Caden Honeycutt said, I'm going to cut in front of you, Nick Sanchez. I'm going to lead you to the front in this battle. Phil, we're talking about a battle for 32nd. That's how intense the Truck Series is.
And the problem is these drivers are 12 seconds behind by virtue of where they started. They lapped this racetrack at 15.5 seconds. It won't be long till our leader, Christian Eckes, and those other guys are going to be right up there to lap them, as you see Corey Heim trying to move to the inside of his teammate, Sawalich in the 1.
And Grant Enfinger tracing Heim in that yellow number 23. Really some intense battles on this racetrack early on. It's because of what you said, Phil. You're 12 seconds behind. You're 4 or 5 seconds from seeing the leader in your mirror. You got to go, and you got to go now.
Look at Heim up there knocking on the door of Jack Wood, trying to get by, jump up to 9th. Ben Rhodes working through the field to the inside of William Sawalich. 99, pretty good in practice, maybe a bit disappointed in his qualifying run. 12th right now for the man that won the championship 2 years ago.
Jake Drew on the inside of Sawalich. Williams thinking, I just need a break. I got to get myself down to the bottom and get going, as we see Christian Eckes working through some lap traffic already.
Christian's opened up about a little over a second, 3/10 lead right now over our second place running Majeski.
How good's that feel, Phil? Early in the race yeah. To be able to say.
Oh, caution.
Caution's out first of the night.
Oh, Jack Wood's involved. Dean Thompson.
We saw part of Thompson's truck fly off of onto the racetrack. Those 2 trucks are done for tonight.
Yeah, tremendous amount of damage. So optimistic for Jack. Great qualifying effort. It's going to come to an end early on.
Jack was running in the 9th position. Talk about a good qualifying run and keeping his nose clean early until contact with the 5 of Dean Thompson.
Look at all the damage to the back of Jack's truck. Wow.
Yeah, that's a shame. Seen Jack have some speed as of late, and to watch it go away. Oh, Dean just couldn't get to the bottom.
Yeah, Jack had already gotten to the outside wall and was sliding back down the racetrack when Dean came along. Dean had committed to the middle, to the top of the racetrack, tried his best to turn it hard to left to avoid Jack, and unfortunately couldn't do it.
16 laps in. Eck has started on the pole. He's led them all so far. Caution is out for Jack Wood and Dean Thompson. Back to Bristol in a moment. Sunday on Fox, the new era for the Packers continues as Jordan Love leads the pack against the Falcons, or Christian McCaffrey and the Niners battle Matthew Stafford and the Rams, or other regional action. Check local listings for the game in your area, only on Fox and the Fox Sports app. Seahawks, Lions.
Undefeated Lions.
Want to know? That's nice.
Yes.
You can't go undefeated unless you win the first one.
Exactly. And who did they beat?
They beat the defending world champs.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
On the road.
Yes.
You're watching the Craftsman Truck Series live from Bristol. We flashed to Ty Majeski because he has season tickets to Lambeau Field to watch the Packers play.
And Phil's had season tickets for the Lions game since the 50s.
Well, and they won one playoff game since then.
Was it 57?
No, 90. They won a championship in 57.
One of our playoff drivers on pit road, Jamie.
Yes, and that's Nick Sanchez. He had got himself up to the 24th position, but he just didn't have anything left in that truck that he could push any further forward with. He said he was sliding on entry. Danny Stockman, the crew chief, made the decision. While we're this far back, we've got to go ahead and do something. Brought him in, put the track bar down one, took on 4 new tires, see what he could do.
I'm a bit surprised by that, Phil. I mean, I love it. We started in the back. You got to mix it up. Opens up some options for later in the race.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a big detriment to use that set of tires, because most of the teams don't think they would use all their tires that they have allotted anyway. They started the race on the set of tires that they qualified on, then they would have 3 sitting in the pits. Most teams think they would only use 2 during the race.
Still cleaning up our first incident of the night, so we'll step aside. Green flag to wrap up the opening stage when we return on FS1. Getting ready for the restart about halfway through the opening stage at Bristol for the Craftsman Truck Series. We found another angle that has brought out our first caution of the night. Let's take a look at this.
And what this tells me, Phil, look ahead of Jack Wood in the 51. There's no one there. He's holding up 4 or 5 trucks. And finally, Corey Heim in the 11 truck got a little impatient, put it in there. Jack closed the door. But anytime at Bristol, you look in your windshield and there's no one out there and there's people behind you in your mirror, you know it's trouble.
Yeah, any racetrack that's hard to pass. Martinsville's the same situation. Tough break though for Jack Wood.
Front row on the restart. Eckes outside of Majeski.
Let's see if Hocevar can take advantage of that outside lane like we saw Eckes do. He did it.
Quite easily. Slides through, pulls into line. Hocevar back to second in front of Majeski.
Look at this hornet's nest back here.
How about 3 wide at Bristol? Luckily, they were able to get through that. You see the 2 truck, the black and yellow truck. Sanchez got those tires. He's wanting to go on the charge, get through this mess. He could get lapped pretty easily, even though there's only 30-some laps left, 29 laps to go in the stage. This is a mess he's in.
Yeah, the critical thing for him right now is to put as many trucks between him and Christian Eckes, our leader, as he can.
By the way, that first caution, Memphis Villarreal got the free pass. Jack Wood treated and released from the infield care center in the 51.
The Grant Enfinger already up to the 10th position, trying to make his way around Tanner Gray in the 15 truck. Just trying to hug that bottom, aren't they?
Oh man, that's so beautiful. Phil, we got to race NASCAR for a lot of years, but I'm telling you, every time I watch this camera and see these guys dig it, I want to get back in that truck and go at it too.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Talk about painting the line. I mean, that camera does so much to tell the story of this place.
Don't you almost think that Grant's handling a little bit better than that 15 truck because he's able just to keep it a little bit lower, and that's what you want to do here.
But showing a lot of patience. You see there's a little bit of a gap in front of Tanner Gray, just like we were talking about a few moments ago. Grant Enfinger right now is running 10th. He's in a point-paying position here for the stage, but man, would he sure like some more of those positions.
Look at the gap.
Yeah, you said it, Adam. He just squirts away. That 19 truck is so fast. When you're able to do that at Bristol, that's a great feeling. No pressure, just running your groove. But I'm going to tell you what, in about 5 laps, he'll be in the middle of all that mess we just were looking at. Trucks that are battling to try to stay on the lead lap.
You can run, but you can't hide at this place. What about our leader, Jamie?
The team is telling Christian right now, you've got to manage the gap that we had. That was when he was about 1.1 seconds ahead of Carson Hocevar. He has continued to lead the gap, but his team is telling him you cannot overdrive it. We're going to drive this thing as long as we can, so you got to back it off a little bit.
Well, sometimes when you have a great truck, Adam, he is backing it off. He's rolling into the corner, and it just feels that good. He's able to drive away from the competition. But as soon as you get to this traffic, the game changes.
And it almost sounds like they may be contemplating not stopping at the end of the first stage, doing like we talked about, try to get somewhere around 89 to 100 laps and make that pit stop, and then they'll be good to go to the end.
But you know, interestingly enough, Phil, when you do that, you put yourself back in the mess. By playing that strategy, you wind up in the back of the pack at times, and it could be very difficult to get through that mess.
So much of the tempo of this race is dictated by when the cautions come out. Because if it's conventional, it's fairly easy. It's when that caution comes out, middle of the stage. Do you pit? Do you stay out? And if you stay out, do you get caught in the traffic later on? It is a tough puzzle to put together.
But let me tell you something, Adam, you said that doesn't add up. Conventional and Bristol.
That's fair.
Were they in the same sentence? Did he use them in the same sentence?
That is not something that's going to happen. It's always going to be interesting here at Bristol. Majeski, I think, is maybe a little bit faster than Carson right now, but can't quite get right on his tailgate. Still working it. And this is a truck that I thought would be fast tonight. The 24, Rajah Caruth, and he's closed right in on 4th place running Chase Purdy as they go around the 22.
Here comes Zane Smith. He's going to try to take advantage of Rajah being up, and I think he's going to catch a break by the 22 going all the way down to the bottom, and he's going to grab that spot.
How cool was that move? Just hopped in a spot where Rajah didn't see it coming, and Zane, the veteran that he is, was able just to make that work.
Not hard to figure out how he won a championship a season ago. Zane Smith up to 5th. Christian Eckes coming into tonight had 3 laps led on short tracks. He's getting it done here this evening. You saw the incredible action while we were away, side by side. It's the Craftsman Truck Series at Bristol. It happens fast here. Only 6 to go in the stage. We're on board with Ty Majeski, who has scored in 3rd. He, Carson Hocevar, Christian Eckes, our leader, just right in the middle of the mess.
Watch this right side of your screen. Sanchez gonna get a little bit of bump there from Malazzi. Turn them dead sideways and look at the jam up behind him.
Sanchez started in the back, drove to 24th, made the pit stop, riding right now in 26th, and on the tail end of the lead lap with 4 to go in the stage.
Would you believe he was the fastest truck on the racetrack the last lap? Nick Sanchez.
I would believe that. This place is crazy. As you can see, the battle 1, 2, 3. There's that 2 truck of Sanchez running away, but the battle for the lead 1, 2, 3. You see how Majeski's closed on Hocevar, and they're both trying to track down the 19 of Eckes.
And Timmy Hill in that 56 truck is doing nothing wrong. He's doing his darndest to stay on the lead lap here with just a couple laps to go.
Got to hang on for another lap and a half. Said going to break, Eckes had led only 3 laps this season on short tracks. 9 total in his career. Starts on the pole this evening, and he's been dominant. Less than a lap remaining, opening stage.
I think he's going to patiently ride behind Hill here and get to the checkered flag. Green and white checkered.
Hill stays on the lead lap. Christian Eckes wins stage 1. Hocevar is 2nd. Majeski is 3rd. 5th stage win of the year for Eckes. And the first time he's gotten it done in the playoffs.
Guys, remember, three potential winners to go to Phoenix. Somebody's going to point their way in. At least one guy's going to point their way in. Points count.
He won at Kansas, and he's picked up where he left off at 19, rolling in Thunder Valley. For the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, playoff drivers delivering, 7 in the top 11 in that stage, 6 of them getting stage points. Best of the bunch, Eckes, Hocevar, Majeski, Zane Smith, all finishing in the top 5. Heim was 8th after starting just outside the top 10, 1 point for Ben Rhodes.
What about Ben from 18th when he started?
Daniel Dye gets the free pass on this, our second caution of the night.
Daniel Dye needed that little break, got back into competition. It's going to be interesting right here to see the strategy, Phil. We talked about it at the opening. Tires don't fall off much. Leaders are coming.
They're coming. Zane Smith staying on the racetrack.
Strategy and track position, 2 words and phrases you'll hear all night long. They're heading down the pit lane. First to Amanda.
And we're going to take a look at the 24 of Rajah Kalaruth that thinks that this could be his night. He's going to take tires there. You see some adjustments are going to be on the track. Fuel into that 24 truck and onto the 98. He's been tight on entry, tight on exit. The truck is also facing a little heat, so we might see them pull a little tape off of the front of that truck. But look who's over here, Jamie.
According to the number 19 of Christian Eckes, he said that the balance is good. He has absolutely no complaints other than the fact that the traffic is horrendous and he simply cannot pass, but he didn't think there was anything the crew could do about that. Carson Hocevar and the number 42, he copied those statements, said, I just can't get around anybody. The traffic is so difficult out here tonight, so he's going to have to be smart, keep his head down. For Chase Purdy in that number 4, he said those last 10 laps, he started to get just a little bit tight. He said the entry on entry is pretty solid, but he wouldn't mind just a little bit more security, guys.
Best place to pass at Bristol is on pit road, right?
Without a doubt.
Eckes holds serve, +3 for Taylor Gray. Hocevar goes 3 in the wrong direction. We did have some drivers stay out, as we talked about. We'll reset the running order and get the green flag to begin stage 2 when we come back to Bristol. Just about ready for stage 2. Let's play the strategy game. Find out who stayed out under caution here, Amanda.
Oh, and looky there, the 38 of last year's champion is one of those that took that choice. He's talking about right now of which lane he's going to take as we get back to green flag racing. He's telling his crew chief, I think I like the top better, but he really wanted to know how many laps were going to be left when we saw this green flag as they plan their strategy as they go forward, Jamie.
Well, for that number 7 of Carson Capel, I asked him before the race, what would your goal be for tonight? And he said, honestly, I'm just here to try and learn as much as I possibly can. And you can't do that if you're not out on the racetrack. So his goal was simply just to complete every single lap and learn as much as he could. He wants to come out next season and do more of these truck races, possibly make a move into ARCA. He does a lot of late model racing right now, but he certainly wants to move up the ladder, guys.
I would say Carson Capel is going to get a real education here because he's restarting on the front row at Bristol with the reigning champ, Zane Smith.
Yeah, he was inside the top 20 there as they were running, so I think he has a good truck.
Yeah, and he's a short track expert. I mean, I know it's funny to say at such a young age, but he's been around the short tracks. He understands the games that can be played on these restarts, but he's at a disadvantage. We saw the launch on that outside. Last time the top 2 trucks on the outside came out 1-2. We'll see how Carson's able to survive this restart.
Top 2 rows stayed out. You got the front row, Zane Smith, Carson Capel we've talked about. Bailey Curry started in the rear after not making a qualifying run earlier. He has not pitted. And we know that Nick Sanchez made a pit stop under caution at lap 19. He also stays out. First off pit road, and the man that dominated in stage 1, Christian Eckes restarts row 3 outside. We're green again at Bristol.
Struggle of a restart for Capel. Probably got her going now.
What's that going to mean for Eckes on the outside there, battling for the 3rd spot? It's going to be tough to finish that pass, Phil. Oh, look at that. He just charges into turn 1, takes that spot away. Capel, is he able to hang on to the 4th spot? That'd be a great restart for him.
All the heavy traffic back through the middle of the field. That'll get some rubber put down in that 2nd lane.
And that's what these drivers want. They want options. They want to be able to go up top, but right now, it's tough treading up there.
There's Corey Heim. We're going to take a look from the bumper cam with Grant Enfinger. Both these drivers right now running up in the top 10, 7th and 8th.
How about Hocevar? Average running position tonight like 2.3, and he's outside the top 10 after that cycle of stops.
Yeah, this is interesting. You see the one of William Sawalich right there, but watch what the 42 tries to do here. Down on the bottom, off the racetrack, contact. He's going to lose a spot or 2.
You wreck a lot at Bristol. It just doesn't always bring out a caution, right?
Ben Rhodes, you see there in the 99. Looks like a fast truck. You saw right there. He pulled right on the back of Purdy, but couldn't make the deal work.
Saw Hocevar pull into the inside of Caruth.
There's Enfinger battling Taylor Gray. Everywhere you look, Phil, there's side-by-side action at Bristol.
The key is if you can get a nose underneath somebody as you exit the corner, if you keep that nose there when you get to the corner, then their spotters are going to say inside, 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 and if you give them some room, they're going to take that spot.
Enfinger up to 7th.
Oh, caution.
3rd one of the night.
We're not stopping anymore. We talked about strategy. That's interesting.
Greg Van Alst, one of those drivers doing double duty, made his final ARCA start of the season earlier this evening. 200 laps here at Bristol.
He had a top 5 earlier tonight in the ARCA race. Our Daytona ARCA winner.
I was going to say, how did he start the year, Phil?
Pretty good. Pretty good. Just an emotional win at Daytona.
So much fun to watch that Victory Lane interview.
He said, we did it. We did it.
Young's Motorsports bring some beautiful trucks to the track here in Bristol. Van Alst had to get away from him there. You can see a little bit in the distance, just already spinning.
It looked like he was by himself.
Yeah. Malazzi was back there in that Outback truck, but can't really tell if there was any contact.
Interesting strategy, though, for Grant Enfinger, Jeff Hensley, saying we're not coming back in. It'd be 139 laps, but with all the Carson laps, I don't think fuel will be an issue.
No, I thought 150 with, you know, considering the amount of cautions you're going to have, and so that's not that big of a stretch. I think it's more interesting that they think the tires are going to be fine for that long. And but what I love is that 23 truck has pace. He's really fast, and the team is comfortable with the handling of it. Don't think they need an adjustment, Jamie. What's Nick Sanchez and that group thinking?
Well, right now he's just thinking about the restart. He wants to try and beat that number 38 off by going low. So they're going to have to try that one out. But what he did tell me before the race started was that before they had that failure, just before qualifying started, he was running some really consistent laps, and he was doing it on old tires in practice. So he's looking forward to this long run. He did stop 42 laps ahead of everybody else when they didn't have any track position to lose. So he feels pretty good about the truck underneath him.
Well, Jamie's he's going to be challenged here. He's probably going to have to start on the bottom, Zane on top. Can he come off turn 2 and retain that second position? I don't think he has a shot of getting the lead. He just needs to try to come out of there on second.
Yeah, and we know that he's going to have to come to pit road, pitting on lap number 19.
Amanda?
I would say that's a pretty good guess that you're going to see that number 2 truck on the bottom there. Zane is definitely going to take the top again, but telling his team that the truck is pretty tight. The team's asking him just to hold on until they pit. They're not going to come in on here. They're going to stay out for these last 33 laps if Zane can make it. He said when the pace truck got in front of him that it actually hurt his hands on the steering wheel and getting control under that truck.
These guys are at a reduced pace, and their brains are in overdrive right now, trying to think about what it's going to be like when they go back racing, what lane they choose, how they execute. We know how fast that 19 of Eckes has been.
It's a good glimpse of Chris Lawson, crew chief for Zane Smith.
There's that 19 I talked about. He's had the fastest truck back on row 2. Will he go to the outside? I think so, Phil.
Yeah, I think he's probably going to think that Zane is going to get the launch from the outside.
What about Carson Kvapil? 4th position. He survived that restart, did a nice job of hanging right there. That's impressive for that young racer. That's what you want to do, check the boxes. And on that restart, he checked the box of saying, I maintained my position, and I was able to run competitively with these guys that I've never raced against before.
Yeah, we talk about this short track prowess. It was the Cars Tour late model champion last year, leading the points again this year. So he knows how to get it on short tracks, and those are very, very competitive fields.
If you look at the top 7 trucks, he's the only one in there that isn't a playoff driver. That tells you the job he's doing in that 7 truck.
Zane Smith outside with Eckes, Sanchez, Kvapil on the inside. Youth versus experience on the front 2 rows when you look at the lane selection for this restart.
And I loved watching the choose right there. There were 5 trucks in a row that went to the inside. We hardly ever see that anywhere. Nobody will give up more than 1 row to stay with the inside or outside, depending on the racetrack. They all wanted the inside.
Free pass here goes to Brett Holmes. 3rd caution of the night, cleaned up. We'll go green. 30 laps to go in our 2nd stage. Zane Smith in charge of the field at Bristol.
Look at the crossover there by Majeski, went to the bottom.
Almost like they rehearsed that move. He dove right in there in front of Kvapil.
Look at Eckes, that's impressive. Around the outside, and that tells you how fast that number 19 is.
Tell you what though, 29 laps to go in the stage. If Sanchez can get some stage points after starting in the rear, could be huge for that 2 team.
Stage points matter, Adam. We're trying to get to Phoenix any way we can, and we can do it by points. There's only 3 races. Somebody's going to point their way in.
Updating, Dean Thompson released from the Care Center. Great battle for the lead. Zane Smith in front of Christian Eckes. Sanchez not going away in 3rd.
Really doing a nice job. His tires have about 40 more laps on him than the 2 guys in front of him.
Zane, he doesn't have any fresh tires at all. I mean, what a night for him.
That's right, yeah.
3 different strategies when you look at the top 3 drivers right now.
That's why I love Bristol, and we've talked about it all day long, how differing strategies are going to play a role in the night's outcome.
Majeski creeping into the picture, running back there in fourth in the 98.
Stuart Friesen trying to make his way through in that 52 around Tyler Ankrum and on the bumper of Parker Kligerman.
Remember, Kligerman finished third in this race here last year.
And let's give a nod to Kligerman, driving full-time in the Xfinity Series. Made the playoffs with Big Machine Racing. Great effort by them. He'll open up his run toward a championship here at Bristol tomorrow night, driving a 48.
Talked to Friesen a little earlier today, and he said, we're on track, Mike. We had a little bit of a struggle there through the summer months, but we think we know where we were off. We're planning on finishing this season strong, even though, Amanda, they're not in the playoffs. Still got a pretty fast number 52 tonight.
Well, I know he's a bit frustrated behind that truck. When I talked to him ahead of qualifying, they really thought that they had worked their issues out, spent some time on the sim, and said they saw exactly what they'd done at Richmond and IRB. But talking to him ahead of the race, he qualified 32nd. He was just kind of threw his hands up. He said, I don't know. Said he doesn't handle the lulls of racing well, but tries to get back behind a race car with anything in it to get out of the bad times.
There was a period in July where it looked like he might make the playoffs. Then that run of bad luck that you talked about, Michael, outside looking in, but he'd love to win before the end of 2023. Look at our playoff drivers. 8 of them, all 8 of them, inside the top 11. 7 in the top 10. They make up our top 5. Led by Zane Smith, but Eck is just not going away.
That 19 is the class of the field, but you got to be patient at Bristol. You can't run up there and just knock 38 out of the way, even though he has the ability to do that. And you know how good Zane is, former champion. He's not going to make a mistake, most likely, no matter how much heat Eckes puts on him. So Zane's just now watching that mirror, doing his job.
And this is a good opportunity for these other crew chiefs to watch the scoring monitor, know that Zane Smith on the original tires is still running really good lap times, so they know that if they stop now, then they're going to be good to go to the end.
17 laps to go, stage 2. We're glad you're with us for a Thursday night at Bristol. The curtain about to close on stage 2 for the Craftsman Truck Series at Bristol. Zane Smith leading this stage.
Battle.
But it's about to change. Here comes Eckes diving to the inside. 19 back on point with what will be 5 laps to go. Stage 2. He waited, and then he pounced.
Really patient, really patient. Zane got hung up a little bit behind the 12 of Spencer Boyd, and Eckes was right there to take advantage.
Look at this mess. Sanchez trying to get around the lap truck, and there's Majeski sideways, got into Heim.
May have a flat tire, may have a right front tire down. I think he does. Mike, look at that right front tire, Michael.
Won this race a year ago. Won the playoff opener on a short track at IRP. But the 98 who qualified inside the top 5 has got issues with 4 to go in stage 2.
Can he limp around and stay on the racetrack and stay by the stage end? I think he might be able to.
Man, that tire is flat though, Phil. Can he make it? Still 3 to go, and that doesn't sound like much on a half mile, but when you got a flat right front, that's forever. I don't think he stays on the lead lap. Maybe he's able to keep from losing 2 or 3 here.
Yeah, he would definitely lose 2 laps if he came to the pits under green, if not 3 laps. So I think it's a good call no matter what. Just 1 to go. You see Zane there at the start-finish line now.
There it
Majeski
goes.
over in turn 2. There's no way he can stay ahead of him, I don't think.
No, and also it could do damage to that truck. You saw the smoke. There goes Eckes.
Puts him a lap down. Eckes led all 55 laps, won the opening stage, takes over the lead, 5 to go in stage 2, and gets the green and white checkered flag again. Get out the broom for driver 19. How about that?
I think Majeski may get the free pass.
Boy, wouldn't that be remarkable if he gets the free pass and is able to maintain his position on the lead lap. Let's go back and watch what happened.
Yeah, racing through some lap traffic. That's when things got intense. You can see on the outside Heim, and then right there, Majeski into the left rear of Heim, and that just flattened that tire.
Immediately.
Bam.
I think he just felt like he came up on the 12 so fast, he felt like he needed to avoid him. I know the spotter knew that the 11 of Corey Heim was to his outside, but like you said, Michael, hopefully there's no damage to the suspension of that truck.
Majeski scored 30th. Confirmation he will get the free pass. Big for the man that won earlier in the playoffs. not being known as a short track racer, I'd say Christian Eckes taking care of business today. Starts on the pole, wins both stages, collects 20 stage points. He'll be in charge most likely if he stays out here when we begin this final stage. Good night going for Zane Smith, Carson Hocevar, Corey Heim getting a bunch of points. Ty Majeski got 8 points in stage 1. That's enormous when you consider what happened there in the closing laps of stage 2.
Yeah, very fortunate that he held on long enough to get the free pass.
Christian Eckes from Greenville, and I'm not talking South Carolina. I'm not talking North Carolina. I'm talking New York. Moved south to be a NASCAR driver, and what a job he's done this year in this number 19 truck.
And how about the run of playoffs he's been on? He's got a first, a second, a third, and he's led and won both stages, and he's going to stay on the racetrack here as well as a number of those drivers.
Let's give some love to Nick Sanchez, to third in stage 2 after starting in the rear. He didn't qualify earlier today because of a mechanical issue. Yeah, a lot of drivers staying out. They want that track position. 38 is in, Amanda.
Yeah, and what he wants to see is 4 new Goodyears go on that truck. He's been on those tires since we started this race. Said he was holding on there at the end, just trying to finish this stage. A little fuel into that 38 as well, and I am anticipating the 98 to make its way here. The team was talking through this with Ty on being able to stay out there as long as he could. He was worried about how the truck was going to feel, and I mean, they're going to do some work on here when they get here, Jamie.
And for Nick Sanchez, he has finally made it all the way around to get into his pit box. He was thinking about maybe wanting some changes. He told Danny Sockman he'd like to be freed up a little bit, but not too much. Danny ultimately made the decision, we're going to do this as quick as possible, take on those 4 tires and send you back out. No changes for Nick Sanchez.
What a fast number 2 truck. You talked about the job he's done cutting through the field. Good strategy. Now he's got fresh tires with just 84 to go.
As we get set up for this final stage, let's head over to our Charlotte studio. Caitlin Vinci holding down the fort there. Good evening, Caitlin.
Also that patience. We talked in the pre-race about how you have to stay focused, how you have to run your race.
That's right.
And that's what he's been able to do. Started 35th and got all the way up to 3rd. So I think that's pretty impressive for him. I don't see any scratches on that truck just yet, but if they can make a small adjustment, he's got 4 fresh tires. And if I'm his crew chief, I say, all right, buddy, it's all on you. I don't want to see you the rest of the night.
Well, you know how sometimes you talk about you'd rather be lucky than good? Well,
Yep.
Ty Majeski has just had some good luck. Not getting a flat tire, but he rode around for 3 laps, got into Corey Heim here. This was a racing incident. I don't think there's anybody at fault here. Got into Corey, right front went flat, rode around for 3 laps, went a lap down as they came to the end of the stage. He's the lucky dog. That's the kind of luck you need to go on and win championships.
Well, it has been very exciting so far. We got a final stage to go out there in Thunder Valley and Bristol Motor Speedway. So let's head back once again to the guys calling all the action in the booth and say hello once again to Adam Alexander.
Thank you, Caitlin. This is going to be a fun final stage. Going to be right around 80 laps to go when we return to the green flag. Did have a penalty there on Zane Smith. You guys were watching that pit stop and called it right away here in the booth that he was outside the pit box.
Yeah, you can't stop with your tires on the line. You see he barely got his back tires in, but that right front is on the line. That's a penalty, and that's a big mistake. That's all on the driver there. You can't make that mistake here in the playoffs.
Yeah, I know that he wanted to stop short, wanted to get that truck aimed out to get around the truck that was pitting in front of him, but that's going to be a pretty serious penalty here. Although so many trucks stayed on the racetrack, it's not like he's given up a top 5 position. Right now we show 14 trucks that stayed out on the racetrack that time.
Multiple times down pit road for that 98, Amanda.
Yeah, and what happened there, they were working on the body on that right-hand side of the truck, and it just took so long. They were able to get those right side tires on, but sent them back out on the track to come back for those left side tires on that truck.
Yeah, there was some damage to the right front, obviously, with that flat tire. So the team just knew they were going to restart in the back. And there's that tire that went down. But
you can see the pace truck right there coming off turn 4. They didn't have much time, so great call send him back out and come back in for the left sides.
That's the team is communicating. Get out of here, get out of here. We got to go. They were able to do just that.
And under caution, you can hear a little bit at Bristol. Under green, you can't hear it all. So after everything cycles through and the drivers stay out, the restart on the front row will put Christian Eckes. He's the control truck. Inside of him, best position of the night for Corey Heim in the 11. Final stage underway at Bristol.
And look at Eckes dominating tonight.
Corey. Oh, contact between the 17 of Gray and Enfinger.
And they're going to go 3 wide back there. Raja dives in.
Nearly got away from him, hangs on to it. Boy, did you see his hands working the wheel off the corner? Talking about the 24 of Raja Caruth.
I'm not sure. Sanchez, the 2 truck, may have popped the wall coming off turn 4. Looked like he didn't hit it hard, but he may have made contact.
Ben Rose up on the top trying to minimize the damage. Can he get down in front of Chase Purdy? Chase is going to hit him. There he goes.
I guess the answer is no. He can't get down in front of him.
Yeah, he can.
Just didn't last very long. Here's Sanchez.
Look how wide that is.
I thought he got into the outside wall. He did make contact with the outside wall. Again, not significant contact, but he certainly did. Keep an eye on Zane now trying to make his way back from the back to the front.
Zane Smith 27th right now. Had the pit stop outside the box. Restarts in the tail.
See, the outside line got hung up. Colby Howard got sideways, slowed down on the outside line. You see the 32 of Brett Holmes as well. Now Zane is going to fall in almost outside the top 30.
Wow. That just tells you how important track position is. You see Majeski to his inside. Both those guys with issues. Meanwhile, smooth sailing for Christian Eckes. He's doing a nice job of managing this race. He's in control. His team has done a perfect job of strategizing and putting himself in this position.
So this is the opening race in the round of 8. One of our playoff drivers wins tonight. They lock in the Phoenix and a chance to run for the championship. Eckes leads. You see the rest of the points in the pylon, and it's widened out. Plus 31 for Heim, plus 24 for Hocevar, Enfinger plus 20. And down at the bottom, those drivers that have had trouble, minus 20 for Zane Smith. Sanchez is 26 behind. Majeski comes in minus 30. He was above the cut when the night began.
And you know, if you're 2 or 3 around that elimination line, you don't really care. That could be a lap or 2 it changes. You get up there around 30 down, you're like, all right, we might just have to win when we go to Talladega. How would that feel going to that place with that task?
And we know how good these trucks are. We know how good this 98 of Majeski is. We know how good the 38 of Zane Smith is, but they're not that much better than all these other trucks. If they had clean racetrack in front of him, yes, they may be able to drive away, but it's hard to get by these trucks. They all have pretty good pace.
Well, Phil, we talked about it in practice earlier today. The top 12 were separated by a 1/10 of a second. You get back in traffic, that's nothing.
I said Majeski was above the cut line coming in. He was not. It was minus 6, now minus 29. So he's lost 23 points in that exchange with the tire issue late in stage 2.
But he's looking to get 10 spots. You know, just pass trucks as you get to them. Get 10 spots. Get me up there where I can contend. Give me a late caution. Let's get something to happen here at Bristol.
Every position a point, so he can click them off one by one.
I'm like you, Michael. Right now, Majeski needs some restarts. He needs a couple, 3 caution flags and some restart. Same thing for Zane Smith.
Pass 3 or 4 trucks. Give me a yellow and a restart. Get 3 or 4 more.
Exactly.
Another caution to tighten him up.
Because he's out of contention for the win. Total, him and Zane Smith both are out of contention for the win of this race.
But I'm going to tell you, there's going to be a caution. I mean, they're going to run into each other. It's just when the leaders when Christian Eckes catches the back of the pack, pusher's going to come to shove, and we're going to see somebody around.
4 cautions tonight. 2 of those for the ending of stage 1 and stage 2. Christian Eckes came in with an average finish in the playoffs of 2nd. He won at Kansas, and he has been incredible tonight. Out in front of the field at Bristol. watching the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series, opening up the round of 8 in the playoffs. It's the UNOH 200 from Bristol Motor Speedway with Phil Parsons, Michael Waltrip. I'm Adam Alexander. 54 to go. Christian Eckes leading the race. Let's check in on pit road with Amanda Busick.
Well, Adam, in the 17, Taylor Gray comes off of his best finish in Kansas. When I congratulated him earlier, he said, hey, I need to be one spot better. Race car drivers, they're never satisfied. And oh, look at Rajah Caruth racing. P6 right now. You know, guys, he said, why can't tonight be the night? But he said it's going to take a ton of discipline from me lap by lap, Jamie.
With Chase Purdy in that number 4 truck. Remember, he started this race in 3rd, and right now he's back in that 7th position. Team telling him, just keep your head down. You've got a really fast truck. Just you got to keep going off, pick him out early. One of the things that Chase said coming in was the role that he plays in it is just not to go out early. Be there at the end and see where they end up. For the number 1 of Williams Wallich, he just came out of that ARCA Menard Series race as the race winner. Also won the ARCA Menard Series East Championship, so it's already been a really big night for him. He's only 16 years old, making his 6th start here in the Truck Series. He's finished in the top 10 on all 3 of the short tracks he's competed at. And right now his team's telling him, just pick him off as you can, drive that bottom line, and stay smart, guys.
So Wallich, less than a month away from his 17th birthday and doing unbelievable things in both the ARCA side and here in the Craftsman Truck Series. Look at Eckes working lap traffic at the 19, moving up on Brett Holmes.
Holmes slipped there a little bit, and Eckes had to squeeze to the bottom. Makes that pass.
I think Brett was just trying to control his truck there. He certainly wasn't trying to get in Eckes' way. Here's Tanner Gray about to go a lap down. Tanner Gray was running up in the top 10 till the end of that 2nd stage.
He scored 27th right now.
He's going to battle hard to keep that 19 behind him.
And look who's in front of Gray.
Wow.
Zane Smith is there, so is Ty Majeski.
Talked about push coming to shove when the leader gets to these trucks. Guys that are thinking they're going to race for a championship, going a lap down at Bristol, that's got to be hard to stomach.
I think it's going to be awfully hard for Christian Eckes to make his way around those trucks to put him a lap down. I think Corey Heim right now is closed up to inside of a 2nd. More than likely, you have to be, I think, considerably faster than another truck to be able to pass him at a place like Bristol that really is not that wide right now. So it's going to be really interesting to see how hard Christian will push the issue to try to get by Zane Smith.
Look at that brake heat on that 38 truck. I've noticed that a couple of times tonight, more so than any of the other trucks. It's also on the left front. Look how hot those front rotors are. That could be building heat in those front tires and making the truck not handle great. That's excessive. Be interesting to see if that truck makes it to the finish with that much heat.
It's amazing. You see in the rear, so it's balanced pretty well because the rear brake rotors are glowing also.
You can see Eckes' as well, but Zane's has been that way for quite a few laps. Maybe more so than any other truck. Oh, look at that little bobble there. He knows how important right now it is to stay ahead of that 19. How aggressive will Eckes get on the back bumper of Zane?
Because Corey Heim is coming, and he knows that. Corey Heim's close now at about 0.4 of a second.
And he was over a 1.5 seconds ahead of Heim when they got to this traffic.
Eckes smelling blood. He wants to put those other playoff contenders a lap down. Here he goes to the inside of Zane Smith. Is he going to get trapped?
I think he's going to make it.
Slides through the middle, outside of Spencer Boyd, another lap vehicle. He completes the pass, putting Zane Smith 1 lap at arrears. Next, he'll see Ty Majeski.
What a great move. Just
totally
very calculating, very patient. He made it happen. What an awesome move.
Very similar to how he got the lead at the end of the 2nd stage.
39 to go. It's intense at Bristol. Eckes leading, but he's in a bunch of lap traffic. It's been a career night for Christian Eckes. Craftsman Truck Series racing at Bristol. Started on the pole, won both stages. He's led 127 laps. That's more laps than he's ever led in a race in Truck Series competition. But he's going to have to earn this one because he's in the midst of some lap traffic, and Corey Heim in second is beaten on that back tailgate.
You talked about the pole, the stage wins. How big's his advantage? Oh, a truck link. That's all. That's all that
Dominated this race.
That's right. What a great race we're having. These guys have caught lap traffic, and it looks like the handling's going away a bit on Eckes. I've seen him lose a couple times as Majeski finally gets to the inside of Ankrum and trying to stay on the lead lap.
Incredible amount of patience by Majeski. I think he must have followed Ankrum for 30, 40 laps.
I don't know how, I was going to say, I don't know how long Eckes will follow Ankrum. He gets the
one corner.
Yeah, he got that bumper to him in a hurry.
And Ankrum goes a lap down, which means Zane Smith is no longer in the free pass position should we get a caution. "25 laps to go this time around, Jamie."
One of the things Christian Eckes talked about before this race was having to stay smart in the traffic. He felt like that was an area that they could improve on, but he said at this point in the season, he feels like he's driving better than he ever has in his career, and because he's doing that, they're able to make the truck better. They're able to find more speed. They're able to maximize and get the results that are getting them points and ultimately moving him up the ladder. But he said, we are by no means at our full potential, and the word he used to wrap it all up was exciting. It's an exciting time in his career right now.
It's fun to watch, I'll tell you that, Amanda. So much pace, so much confidence. Just in a really good spot right now, but he's got Caden Honeycutt off his nose. He needs to get that position away in a hurry as he gets to the bottom here. Yes. He just has to be mistake-free here, Phil, because Corey Heim is right there in case something goes wrong.
Majeski's been able to pull out away from this group. Once he got by the 16 of Ankrum, the Majeski's driven away. You can see he's a half a straightaway right now ahead of Christian Eckes. Christian Eckes may not come up on Majeski anymore. He may not have to worry about that.
Meanwhile, battle for third. Good night for Infinger.
Good
Carson
night for
Hocevar
and Taylor Gray in that 17 again. And you see Raja just outside the top 5 in that 24 truck.
We've hit our Craftsman, 20 to go. Top 4, all playoff drivers. Eckes, Heim, Infinger, Hocevar. A run of non-playoff drivers behind them. The only playoff eligible driver remaining in the top 10, Ben Rhodes, is 8th. It's going to be a good finish at Bristol. We'll go side by side for the final time tonight with Christian out in front of Corey Heim. Christian Eckes still leading at Bristol. Going to be 10 laps to go for the Craftsman Truck Series. What a night it's been. Long green flag run in the final stage. Lots of lap traffic, and Eckes now is starting to put some distance between himself and second place Corey Heim.
And you can see just ahead of Eckes, Ty Majeski remains. He's made it up to the top 20 on the outside there, racing behind Jake Drew in the 61.
He knows those are a couple points if he can get by Drew and Kligerman. Gain a couple points, but the main thing right now is trying to get away as Sanchez gets really loose, running in the 10th spot.
Yeah, he's done a great job. Starts in the back after not making a qualifying run. Played a little strategy, third in stage 2 pits, and now he's going to rally for what appears to be a top 10 finish, doing the best they can do with a hand they were dealt.
Jake Garcia's been all over the back of the 2 truck, but he just can't quite get there. Now look what we've got going on, Phil. It's getting tight at the front with all this lap traffic.
6 to go.
Again, fast trucks. Jake Drew, Parker Kligerman right in front of Majeski. That's holding up this entire line here.
Here comes Heim.
Heim
He's
for the
there.
lead. Corey Heim inside of Christian Eckes, side by side for the top spot. 11 on point at Bristol. 5 to go.
Lap traffic was what gave Heim that opportunity, and he pounced.
That was the first time he was really close enough to even make a move on Christian Eckes, and it worked.
Can Eckes get back to him?
4 laps to go.
Eckes just couldn't use all that throttle because of the 15 of gray, and Corey Heim was in a good spot because you'd use all that throttle coming off the corner, pulled up beside him, and then beat him in the corner.
Christian Eckes won on a late restart at Kansas, led only 2 laps, but got the checkered flag and his 3rd victory of the year. Dominates tonight and has lost the top spot with 5 to go. There will be 2 to go this time around. Corey Heim looking for his 3rd victory of the year.
I think right now Corey Heim says, I don't think I need to pass Majeski. I just need to keep this truck on the bottom. Try to negotiate around the 33 lap truck.
Villarreal there in the 33, runs high off the corner. That's going to hurt Eckes' exit.
White flag is out. Next flag will end the race. Corey Heim trying to bring it home at Bristol. He won the regular season championship. And he's going to have a chance to win the title at the end of the season as well. Corey Heim, a winner at Bristol, and he's going to the championship 4.
Boys, it ain't over till it's over.
Sure isn't.
And that's Bristol right there. Just so heartbreaking for Christian Eckes. So dominant, as you said, Adam.
Eckes led 150 laps in this race. Starts on the pole, wins both stages. But Heim takes the top spot with 5 to go. Leads 6 total laps. And Corey Heim.
Don't like your race truck, you win.
Corey Heim will head to the desert in less than 2 months to run for a championship.
And he goes to Talladega our next race. just free as a bird.
How must that feel? I mean, I don't care if you are Christian Eckes, second in the points, 29 ahead of the elimination line. You're worried right now. You just know what's next. That's Talladega.
And all that momentum that he had carried from Kansas and throughout this race is zapped just a little bit because he'll relive those last 5 laps many times in the next couple of weeks, no doubt.
How about Corey Heim? Led 6 laps, but they're the most important ones.
3rd win of the year.
It just was, to me, it just was Bristol. It's the old Bristol. Everybody hugging the bottom. They get to the lap traffic. There's nowhere to go. One slip, and bam, you go from the penthouse to the other house.
Well, it reminded me a little bit of what Eckes did to Zane Smith at the end of stage 2. Waited, and then took advantage there late. And that's exactly what Heim did to end this race.
Adam, what time is it?
Time.
It's Heim time. Indeed it is.
It is that. He reminded the crowd of it there.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
Won the regular season championship despite the fact that he missed a race due to illness at St. Louis. You didn't know what that would do to interrupt things for this driver, who has now led laps in 13 consecutive races. The last time he finished outside the top 10 was March.
The first 6 races of the year, no laps led. He's led laps every single race since. He's the youngest driver ever to have 13 top 10s in a row.
Second short track win of the year. Also won at Martinsville back in the spring. What a night for Corey Heim, Jamie.
And before the race, if you remember, one of the things Corey said was they just weren't fast enough in qualifying. But Corey, you guys were smart. You hit your marks. You did everything you needed to do. How much teamwork went into making it happen?
Just everything's just huge. Thank you to Tricon Garage, Toyota Racing, Safe Flight. This is insane. I mean, just I feel like I've given so many away this year, and to win one at the end like that is so special. So David Gillen, Kevin Ray, everyone back at Tricon Garage, Scott Zabadelli, unreal. Just like I said, I feel like I've given so many away, but we finally got one back.
You said before the race that you felt like you had actually been the best truck the last 3 races. It just hadn't shown in the results. When you made that pass around Christian Eckes there at the end, how much thought did you give to that?
I don't know. I was in the zone. I mean, I just thought about all the races we've given away or I've given away. So I just focused forward and set my pass up right where it needed to be. Tony Hirschman, spotter, did an awesome job getting me through there. So I'm out of breath, clearly, but gosh, it's so awesome just to know we're in Phoenix, and it's awesome.
Corey Heim locked into Phoenix. Congratulations, Amanda.
Jamie, it is a tale of 2 emotions onto Christian Eckes. He's been sitting here processing the last lap here, and I want to go back to you and Corey Heim. When you take this one in, is there anything you could have done different there at the end?
I just think it's a little ironic that the 15's 3 laps down and waited, but whatever. Good truck. I got really tight there at the end. Yeah, is what it is. But huge thanks to Gates Hydraulics, Napa Auto Care, Instacoat, just everybody involved. Yeah, that one stinks for sure.
You can definitely read the body language of Christian Eckes. He did say sorry to his team on the radio, and they said right back, we're all in this together.
He referenced the 15 of Tanner Gray, who's a teammate of Corey Heim. We were seeing the replay there during the interview. What's your reaction to that, guys?
I didn't see anything there. He was, Tanner was up out of the way, trying to just get to the finish. Obviously, he had some issues. You can see well out of the groove.
Yeah, stays right up against the outside wall. I mean, I think it's unfortunate timing was all I would say.
but Tanner couldn't have timed that if he wanted to. that was just a bad break for Christian Eckes, and obviously you can understand Christian's frustration, but it's really tough for him to take that loss after a dominant performance like he had.
We update the leaderboard 1 race in to the round of 8. Heim has advanced to Phoenix, plus 29 for Eckes, who comes up short this evening. Hocevar plus 18, plus 14 for Grant Enfinger. Below the cut as we go to Talladega, Zane Smith, Ben Rhodes, Nick Sanchez, and Ty Majeski. Corey Heim saved his best for last. 3rd win of the year, his first at Bristol Motor Speedway.